So this is politics as usual. When it comes to like black cops being punished heavily for being good cops somehow. This story is like, hopefully someone makes this into a TV show. When it comes to all the cop shows, this should be there are already too many cop shows, but this would be an interesting cop show because we finally have like the real story, you know. So tell me about this long ass journey that the regimes with Cariol Horne. Pretty much, she was an officer who was fired after stopping a chokehold in 2006. You know what happened to the officer that hit her? He went to jail for 4 months. So that's that. So let's play this clip real quick. What's going
I
on
like how
here?
you asked me to explain it and then like went to playing the video.
Yeah, explain it because it's gonna be a long ass commercial.
Fuck these commercials. You need a one of these blockers,
Yeah,
man. We're not here advertising Optimum. I mean, they're not horrible, but we should not be advertising them. But anyway, Carol Horn has been fighting. At one point, she was fighting to get her job back because she was fired from the force, but then the union begrudgingly, okay, we have to take this black woman back. They fought, to get her job back. She got her job back, and they immediately leveled a bunch of disciplinary sanctions on her to kind of like try to mess her up. Anything that happened while she was on the job, they were trying to write her up, and then they, I think she was maybe somewhere between 1 and like 7 days away from hitting the 20-year mark, which would have allowed her to collect her pension. And then they fired her so that she could not collect her pension. So since then, she's been fighting from the other side of the blue wall. She's been fighting to get back what she is due. So they played a lot of these ugly, dirty games to try to besmirch her name, to try to take money out her pocket. So I guess we're going to see here in this clip that in the end, the facts won out over them just being salty.
Decade. Cariol Horne was dismissed from the Buffalo, New York Police Department after she intervened
this
when a
looks like
white
doesn't play
officer
that
used
shit
a
either.
chokehold
So
on a black man. This was back in 2006. Now a judge has decided to reverse Horne's termination and reinstate her pension. Jerika Duncan spoke to Horne about why she kept fighting all these years.
Cariol Horne never stopped believing in the justice system.
Did you ever think this day would come?
I did think this day would come. That's why I kept fighting.
Horne's story goes back almost 15 years. In 2006, the former Buffalo, New York police officer made headlines after she tried to stop fellow officer Greg Kwiatkowski from choking
whoa,
a black
he looks
suspect,
like
Neil Mack. Horne says she was struck in the
Outback
face by
Steakhouse.
Yo, he looks
Kwiatkowski
about as Alabama as anybody in northern New York could look.
After watching George Floyd's breath slip away under the knee of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin, Horne recalled why she intervened.
Neil Mack looked like he was about to die. So had I not stepped in, he possibly could have. He was handcuffed and being choked.
To this day, Mack maintains Horne saved his life.
wow.
He was choking me. I was handcuffed. Cariol Horne said, "You killing him, Greg." And she reached over and tried to grab his hand around my neck.
The police department brought disciplinary charges against Horne.
Even though a judge made a decision regarding
Which I
How
covered
dare
as a
you
reporter
stop a murder
for CBS
in progress?
affiliate WIVB more than a decade ago.
So they can't hide behind the lies.
The department
Look how
fired
long
the
black
mother
people
of
have to
five
fight for
after
shit.
finding her use of force against a fellow officer was unjustified. She was terminated just months before being eligible to receive her full pension. As for Greg Kwiatkowski, he was later sentenced to 4 months in federal prison in 2018 for using unlawful and unreasonable force
Oh my Lord.
against 4 black
Looks like that guy
teenagers.
from Fargo that put that dude in the wood chipper.
In October of last
Yo,
year,
he put you in
Buffalo
the wood
City's
chipper in
mayor
the back-
signed the duty
back
to
of his
intervene
cabin,
law,
yo.
which would require police to step in if a fellow officer uses excessive force. It's legislation Horne helped write and had been pushing since 2016.
We don't want other officers to go through what I've gone through, but we don't want other victims to go through what George Floyd went through.
That same month, with the help of attorneys Ron Sullivan and Intisar Robb, Horne filed a lawsuit
like
to
the black elite-
overturn
the black-
her 2008
The
termination.
Black Justice League over
Just
there
this
with the bow
week,
tie
a New York
and the-
State judge ruled that Horne's pension, which she says is worth at least $800,000, must be reinstated.
Wow.
We asked the judge to vacate the decision, get rid of the decision, and reinstate her nunc pro tunc, a Latin phrase which means bring it back to 2008 and fix this thing. So it's called an equitable remedy that allows judges to go back and, in the interest of justice.
In an 11-page opinion, the judge quoted the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Oh,
saying,
shit.
"The time is always right to do right." He went on
They're
to
probably
say
gonna
the city of
try to
Buffalo has recognized
reverse
the
that on
error
appeal.
and has
See, they
acknowledged the need
quoted
to
a black
undo an
person. This was
injustice
racially
from the
motivated.
past.
When you read those words, what went through your mind?
Finally, somebody gets it. Somebody understands.
Ron?
It was a powerful decision and really said what needed to be said. It was a gross injustice that happened. And he basically said, look, we're sorry. We got this wrong.
An admission nearly 15 years in the making. Justice delayed, not denied, but sadly only realized because of a tragedy witnessed by the world. For CBS This Morning, Jerika Duncan, New York.
Yeah, so I'm not buying any of this bullshit about sorry we got this wrong. And
After
here's
15
why.
years, bro, 15 years.
Here's why I'm not here's why I'm not
Oops.
buying this. You knew that this officer was out of line from the very beginning. You know
he teleported
that
from Alabama
choking
to
someone who was already detained,
Yeah.
you know that it's wrong. Because if it was any other, you take it any other situation where this exact thing happened, the ethical fiber that everybody is born with would tell you that's not right. So, when a police officer who is trained to recognize that there's a crime in progress and then put a stop to it, feels the need to put a stop to a crime in progress, and your direct response is to punish, fire, charge that person, you know what you're doing is wrong and you're proud of it. So miss me with the sorries, miss me with that. And I've always been one of these people that feels like I really wish people would say exactly what it is they think. I don't want to hear, and I'm sorry to the victims. No, what I want to hear from you is fuck y'all, and I'm glad that I did what I did because all of y'all are sad and fuck y'all. I would much rather hear that than all of this bullshit after the fact when Piakowski knew what he was doing was wrong. He knew that what he was doing was wrong when he was doing it.
Beat up 4 teenagers in 2000.
And that was later. But that was later. Messiah, that was later.
What kind of monster is able to beat up 4 people?
But that was later. But I'm talking about in the situation in 2006. This person knew what he was doing was wrong. The department knew that their reaction to what she did was wrong. They knew it while they were doing it. But how dare a black woman step up to a white man? And that was the crime that she committed. So they had to make sure she paid for that. And then after she was reinstated, they kept looking for reasons to terminate her employment so that they wouldn't have to pay out her pension. And how many times have we seen officers walk scot-free on flat-out murder of unarmed citizens of any color?
They'll try to let Kim Potter walk off. They're like, until finally she got manslaughter, but they literally was.
They weren't going to charge her with manslaughter, so the video became public.
They were going to let her walk off with doing that. Oh, that was his training. Remember that? That's his training. So, oops. So, but luckily it got attention. It was video. You know, and what
and
happened?
They were going to leave it.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. And Cariol said it herself. They were going to leave what they did to her if not for George Floyd. And what that tells me is that you knew what you were doing was wrong. You knew it while you were doing it. You knew it was wrong after you did it. And then you knew you were wrong to continue to keep fighting against her pension reinstatement
for years.
For years. We're talking about over a decade.
Her hair is like white, like Storm from Marvel Comics at this point. How long she's been fighting for that 800,000, you know? So that's how long she's been fighting for it. She has 5 children, so it's the reason why she's fighting for it. You know, it's like, so.
But also, you could say that a lot of this was moral, because a lot of times we look at these situations. Look at the Derek Chauvin situation. Let's flip that situation on its head for the 3 other officers who have been charged with aiding and abetting second-degree murder. Okay? What if, just playing devil's advocate here, just throwing this out there, what if 1, 2, or 3 of those officers wanted to do something in that situation, but they thought that something like what happened to Cariol Horne would happen to them? Now, I'm pretty sure none of these officers knew what happened to her in another state.
Prosecution, they would have been part of the prosecution in the court. They would have been like, yo, get up in the stand and say how you feel. Like, I was standing there, I just was worried about what's going to happen to my career, my family, you know. But no,
I thought that this is the way it's done because that was my training officer.
Yeah.
You know? So but I just bring that up just to say that we need decisions like this, and we need timely, not 15 years after the fact. We need timely decisions that support, because a lot of times, and you've said it, right? When we hear ACAB, right? When we hear stuff like that, why do we hear stuff like that? Why do we have this suspicion? We have this cynical viewpoint of these officers that say that, well, that's just the bad apple. But the thing is, y'all all look like bad bushels. Why? Because when someone in uniform is doing the wrong thing, none of you step up to stop it. And then when one person has the gumption, has the ethical gumption to stand up for what is right, then you want to try to punish her.
I mean, just imagine if we treated the same way police officers, the way we're treating the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. 6 vaccines caused the blood clot. We shut the whole shit down. Imagine we did that with the cops. You know, 6.
Imagine
we shut the whole shit down. Like, hold up, what's going on here? That's not happening. It's like, you know,
imagine. I mean, you look at, you know, I don't want to get into the virus segment, you know, prematurely, but you know, the same people that is pointing at the J&J vaccine. Oh, look, 0.00006%. You know, I'm not taking that. But then it's like, but you didn't want to stay in the house when the virus was killing 2.2%.
It's a little higher, isn't it? It's a little higher, right? That's like, you know, but that's the politics as usual. It's kind of like a good bittersweet story. In the midst of the bullshit is really, I guess, in some ways, just fighting for it and getting the justice at the end of it. That's Black Power Magic Hour on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. And act.tv has over 48,000 subscribers. And Dr. Regis, he's live on Twitter, Discord, YouTube, and Twitch. And that's politics as usual.